How's it going? Today I want to talk about the influential string bending of T-Bone Walker, the father of electric blues. So T-Bone Walker, his favorite position on the neck and favorite scale, pretty much, was the G minor pentatonic box position. So 3rd fret. But I want to focus on some signature licks that T-Bone Walker utilized as an electric blues guitarist that pretty much every subsequent generation of electric blues guitarists has utilized. And the big ones especially were the Three Kings, B.B., Albert, and Freddie King, who were heavily influenced by T-Bone Walker. Of course, they took the string bending into another level. They completely developed an advanced technique with it that was way out in the stratosphere that everybody has emulated since. But the basic approach of electric blues guitarists, in particular in the box position, that first position of the G minor pentatonic scale in this instance, a lot of those approaches originally were innovated by T-Bone Walker. So if you have the octave right here, and if you started on this octave G on the 4th and the D string, and then you went up a 4th, so root, 3rd, 4th, and you bent the 4th up a whole tone until you land on a perfect 5th, and then you land on the adjacent 5th, perfect 5th, on the B string, which is the 3rd fret in this instance, you would get a unison bend. But I'm not talking about an Eric Clapton unison bend like this. Although those would become very popular 20 years later when Eric Clapton started utilizing them, and all kinds of blues and rock guitarists ever since have utilized those unison bends. But it's not really that. It's more of a unison bend where it's kind of staccato, where it falls onto the next string like this. And that type of unison bend, you'll hear it all over Chuck Berry's records in the 50s. He would do a triplet lick with it where he would fall onto the adjacent 4ths on the B and the E, so the notes D and the notes G. Actually, G and D, those are 5ths, but you get my point. These two strings right here, well, T-Bone Walker was using similar unison bends, but he would just do one string. And Chuck Berry does that too. You'll hear it on Johnny B. Good. But one of the things that T-Bone Walker would do is he would do this unison lick as a triplet, and then he would go to the 7th, then back to the 5th, and he would go to the 4th, the perfect 4th on the G string, which is the note C, and then he would take that back here to the minor 3rd of G, which is B flat. So the whole thing would be like. And so many blues guitarists will appropriate these licks when they start a blues solo or just at different points when they're using the first position minor pentatonic scale. This is so common, this move. But T-Bone Walker is definitely the one that started that, and I mean, you'll hear it in Black Sabbath, you'll hear the lick. You'll hear it in all kinds of music. Tony Iommi would use it. So it's all over the place in blues and rock, and he was the first one to really use it. You'll not find another record earlier than him using it, and he would a lot of times use it as a tag or kind of a turnaround at the end of a blues phrase. when he wanted to take it back, he would kind of do it kind of slowly and deliberately. And sometimes, usually, he would just do a hammer on from the minor third to the major third, and then fall onto that fifth and that root, kind of like this. And sometimes it was really deliberately like. But that, in essence, is a signature T-Bone Walker turnaround, and all these licks are very influential. Like I said, T-Bone Walker is the father of modern electric blues. I never get tired of listening to his music. I listen to it almost every day. If it comes on my iPod, I'll pretty much always stick it out and listen to the song because I love electric blues. And nobody has the touch of T-Bone Walker. There's been guys who've come close. Mike Bloomfield in the 60s was a good example of that. And in more modern times, you have Duke Robillard, who that's probably his favorite, is T-Bone Walker. And he comes pretty close with some of the techniques and the touch and whatnot. But nobody really matches those long, swinging, and straight eighth note feel lines that T-Bone would weave out in the 40s. And just a brilliant soloist, brilliant musician. I definitely recommend him if you haven't listened to him ever.